this is current affairs. So in current affairs, we are already giving you everyday daily videos. But in addition to that, we have the study material. We have the study material and we'll be covering that. But before that, I don't have to introduce formally, but you already know every day at 7 p.m. Ramcharan sir is giving you current affairs videos for each and every day. Every single day, he's giving the current affairs. And this current affairs is really helping you to do well in the exam. And we got a lot of feedback that this current affairs is helping. And we have some very good news for you relating to the daily videos which we did. So I would like Ramcharan sir himself to share, because it's his hard work that every day we have this current affairs. So Ramcharan sir, please tell us the good news related to current affairs which we got recently.
Hello, Alok sir. Thank you for the introduction. There are a lot of you who follow our current affairs updates every day at 7 p.m. on the channel. The good news that sir was telling is every month ICSI is releasing e-bulletin, and it is available in the icsi.edu website. In the May month's e-bulletin that we have received, out of the 10 questions, there are a lot of questions which we have discussed in detail in the video updates that we are giving you. And this is really nice because if the question paper is on the same lines, you would be doing extremely well if you have followed our current affairs update every day. So this is something which is really nice to know. And we are very happy that we have understood the way in which the question paper setter is thinking, and we will continue to provide you with the current affairs update, and let's hope that you do really well in the current affairs exam.
That's really nice to know. So now we have also given a very small quiz. A very small quiz is there for you, which is related to our economics. So sir just finished economics, right? So relating to that, we have a very small quiz. I would request all of you to please go to the chat window. We have the link of that quiz. And once you look at that quiz, you can take it. It is just going to take 3 to 4 minutes for you if you attended economics. See, we don't want you to simply come and watch like a movie. It should be interactive, right? And current affairs will start, but before that, we have the quiz which we have in uh, economics. So please go to the chat. I've just shared that link with you guys just now. So once you see that link, you can take that quiz. We'll also be discussing the answers and stuff like that. Please make sure you take the quiz. After some time, we will discuss. So I think first we'll discuss about current affairs syllabus and stuff like that. Then we can go to the quiz answers. So yes. So sir, can we discuss about the current affairs syllabus paper 4?
Sure, sir. I'll share the
Yeah, if
screen
you can
here.
share the syllabus page, that would
Yeah.
be better, because the quiz answers will be there. You can just go to that page
Yeah. Can you
and
all
then we,
see the screen now?
yeah, if you can
Okay.
go to the directly to the uh,
Yes. Okay, anyway, so these are the things that are lined up for you all today. We have the quiz to begin with, then we will have the overview of the current affairs syllabus. Then we shall get introduced to a few important international organizations, and we'll also glance few other things in the PPT. So this is, oh, I will end up giving answers anyway, right.
yeah.
So this is the syllabus that we have for paper 4 part A. I think all of you attended part B yesterday. That is the Viva Voce part, which was done by Panama ma'am. And this is part A of paper 4. To be very honest, this is a very significant move by ICSI to introduce current affairs in the syllabus. And it's very interesting to know that they have included some very important facts which every professional student should know, or every professional should know. There are only 4 chapters, and the entire syllabus is covered in just 75 pages, maybe 90 pages, right? So that is the number of pages you should see. Here, it is not the number of pages that matters. What matters the most here is the information that is shared. real good information is shared, and it is indicative of the things that we have to read, understand, and remember. The first chapter here deals with the international and national affairs. This is the longest chapter in the whole syllabus. This runs for almost 45 pages and covers extensively on international organization, national organizations, then awards, then sports, then all the latest developments that has taken place both in India and outside. Very, very informative. It covers politics, then it covers economics, it covers every single bit that we see around us. Very informative chapter. Second chapter deals with the financial affairs. It mostly deals with RBI, banks, and a lot of other things, which other organizations which deal with money. So that's also quite interesting, and all the latest developments that has taken place in the financial world. Now, if you come to the third chapter, it is political affairs. Here, the focus is on the central government, the cabinet ministers, their portfolio. Then we have all those programs that central government has come up with in order to help the society as well as the economy to grow. Very interesting facts and figures are shared in chapter number 3 also. And the last chapter is very important. You all study legal aptitude, and later on you'll be studying a lot of things related to the laws, especially related to business and company and other things. So here you get introduced to the legal system of the country. You discuss about Supreme Court, High Court, the judges, the way in which they are selected, and we have the National Company Law Tribunal and the Appellant Court. All these things are discussed in this chapter. It's relatively a smaller chapter when compared to the other three, but again gives you a lot of information. So, is this the common question that all of us are receiving on our channel? Is this enough if we read this, or is it enough if we follow the videos that we are uploading? We suggest that it should be a combination of the two. So that will be your complete syllabus. Read, understand all that is there in the book, and also follow the updates that we are uploading on a daily basis. That should help you to do extremely well in the upcoming exam. So this is the update on syllabus of paper 4 part A.
Yeah, that's nice to know. So I think quickly we can discuss the answers for economics. It's a very simple quiz. So I think
Yes.
Ramcharan sir will now give you the questions and answers for the quiz. And regardless of this, please do take it whenever you're free. So, sir, I think you can discuss the question and answers for the quiz, and then we can come back to current affairs.
Okay, I'll do it alone. Yes. So we shall go back to the quiz. I hope none of you have seen the answers. Right. So the first question that was shared in the quiz was, who is the father of economics? This is for any economics student, this is something which all of us should know, and it's a part of 12th standard syllabus as well. The answer is Adam Smith. The second question was, who gave the welfare definition of economics? And it was given by Professor Alfred Marshall. Very, very important. And all of us should know this. Third question was, who gave the scarcity definition of economics? And the answer for this is Lionel Robbins. So these three are most commonly asked questions in class 12. We never know. This can appear in the CSEET exam also. So let us know this, although it is not a part of the syllabus, but it is good to know. Next question is, this is a part of the syllabus. This is very important. Price and demand are dash proportional. They are inversely proportional. That's what we were discussing during the class also. When price goes up, demand comes down. When price comes down, demand goes up. So they both are inversely proportional to each other. Next question was, demand curve is dash sloping. The answer for this is, it is negatively sloping. If you remember, I had drawn the graph for you all. We had taken price on the y-axis and quantity demanded on the x-axis, and the demand curve was like this. So this is called the demand curve. So this is negatively sloping, because when one factor goes up, other factor decreases. So that's the reason the answer is negatively sloping. Next question is, in the demand equation, price is a dash factor. Remember the equation that we discussed at the end of the class? The demand equation was like this: QD is equal to A minus B into P. This was the equation that we discussed. And I told you here, price is the independent factor, and quantity demanded is the dependent factor. We also had a discussion where we told demand is equal to function of price. And here also price is an independent factor, demand is a dependent factor. So the answer for this question is price is independent factor. Last question in this series is all things being constant is called dash. So the answer for this is ceteris paribus. This comes in the law of demand. We tell that keeping all things constant, meaning ceteris paribus, or ceteris paribus meaning keeping all things constant. When price increases, demand decreases. When price increases, demand decreases. So this is what we had discussed. So these are some of the questions that we had prepared for you. Anyway, if you have any doubts, you can leave it in the discussion box. We shall get back to you with the clarification.
Yes, so I think that was a pretty simple quiz to start with. So if you join our live classes, you'll be getting many such benefits. So please ensure, if you still have not joined, we have the offer still open. It is closing on Sunday. So Sunday will be the last offer where you get the classes for additional discount, and it is less than 4,000 rupees. So please don't miss this opportunity for live classes all the way till your July exams, right? So now coming to the quiz, here many people started typing the answer, and we are happy that most of you got it right. But many have not typed. That means you're not at confident. So it's high time you study every day. It's very crucial. Now, coming back to current affairs, um, I want to just share one small incident. So, actually, we had a conference, and then there was one company secretary, a very young person, who had just passed out, and there were other senior CS, and many people were there, and we were talking. So, we were talking something about US, and that time Barack Obama was the president and stuff like that. You will not believe that CS did not know that Barack Obama was US president. So that is why many people started feeling company secretaries not having current knowledge, current affairs. That is why institute has added this current affairs. Many students ask, sir, why this current affairs? It's one headache, so many things to study. It is not the thing to study. It's actually every day if you read the newspaper, every day if you're in touch with the news and business affairs, it's actually very interesting. And you don't have to study for it. That is why we have this everyday 7 o'clock live, 7 o'clock current affairs video by Ramcharan sir. So once you get used to it, it's like a hobby, and you will never forget anything. Yes, the syllabus may be very vast and there is no definite syllabus, but if you are in touch with our channel every day and you're reading the newspaper, it is more than sufficient. So current affairs knowledge is extremely important when you're talking with directors, with other people in casual conversations. This kind of knowledge is required for you. It is like your soft skills, like you need to know English, stuff like that. So that is why please ensure take this current affairs not just for exam, but inculcate this as a habit throughout your life. It will be very, very interesting. So now I think the way we are going to go ahead with this session is, first of all, if you like this and if you're liking Ramcharan sir's everyday 7 p.m. video, please hit the like button of this video first, and also hit the like button of every video which you watch of Ramcharan sir. See, it is also important that you people encourage us by simple things like hitting the like button or commenting. Even we feel motivated and we want to give much more. So that is why ensure that you like the videos and stuff like that. And before I go back again, I'm repeating, please do join the classes if you still haven't joined, because you don't have this opportunity later. This Sunday, this opportunity is going to get over. I'll just leave the link for your information. Coming back to class, sir, now that you have given us the entire overview, please tell us a little bit about these international bodies. What are these international bodies?
Okay. Now, the first topic in the current affairs syllabus that we have is on the international bodies. There are several international bodies. The meaning of the word international is it is not an organization which consists of one country. Several countries come together and for a definite objective with a definite motive, and they work towards it. Now, let us just take a simple example to understand. RBI is a national level organization. All the monetary activities of our country is monitored, controlled, regulated by RBI. So it is the apex body when it comes to money related activities within India. But we have organizations like the World Bank, IMF, WTO, WHO. Here, there are several countries who are members. In the world, we can roughly take that there are around 200 countries. So these international organizations will have a minimum of say 2, 4, 8, 100, 120, 150 nations or even 190 countries as member nations. And such organizations are international organizations. So the ruling that happens in these organizations will impact, affect, influence a lot of countries across the world. So that's why they are very, very important. They are very powerful and they mostly play two roles. One is the role of influencers and other is the role of regulators. So there are two different roles that they play. So we have the first topic on the international organizations. So shall we start, sir?
Yes, I think we can start with this IMF.
Okay,
IMF, I think, is the first body. If you can explain to us what is
sure.
IMF, why do we have it?
Okay, I have a few points which I have covered about IMF. I'll just share the slide with you all. Right. Okay. So, International Monetary Fund is the expansion of IMF. Sometimes, see, we have this feeling that current affairs subject will be very difficult. Sometimes very easy questions also come. Question can be on this only: expand IMF, or what does IMF stand for? So the answer would be International Monetary Fund. So when we say monetary, it is something related to money. And let us see certain things. This is taken straight from the textbook. International Monetary Fund is an organization with 189 countries. This is what I told in the beginning. When we say international, it means that it will have lot of countries. So here it is 189. I told you roughly we can take, there are 200 countries in the world. So almost the entire world is the member of IMF. Working to foster, what is it that they focus on? They focus on global monetary cooperation. So entire world comes together and cooperate with each other. Secure financial stability. Now just see this rupee dollar ratio. If the value of the rupee keeps on falling, it leads to instability in India. So they make sure in such a case they step in and help facilitate international trade. Now all countries or almost all countries across the world have globalized in business environment, so they trade with a lot of countries. So IMF focuses on facilitating this kind of a trade. Promote high employment. We all know idle mind is a devil's workshop. So we need to keep everybody engaged in one or the other way. And the best way is to create employment. And IMF strives for this also. Sustainable economic growth. Now, what is sustainable economic growth? This can be seen in two ways. One is the growth should be constant. And other way of looking at it is we should come out with goods and services and business processes which do not harm the environment, and we preserve this earth for the generations to follow. So such methods and processes are promoted by IMF and reduce poverty around the world. It's very unfortunate that 80% of the wealth of the world is with 20% of the people. The remaining 80% of the population of the world has only 20% of the wealth of the world. So there is a lot of poverty, there is a lot of gap that exists, and IMF strives towards reducing such gaps. So this is the brief introduction of IMF. We have a lot of other things. Let's go to the next point. IMF loans are meant to help member countries to tackle balance of payments. Again, another economics concept here: balance of payment. Balance of payment is, say, one country will trade with another country. Maybe this country exports a lot and this country imports a lot. So there is a difference in the transactions that they do. So C2, that is country 2, is in need of help because they're importing a lot, and that leads to balance of payment issues. So such things are taken care by IMF. They stabilize their economies and they restore sustainable economic growth. So IMF mostly focuses on ensuring that there is a very stabilized economic environment in all the countries across the world. That is what they work towards. You might have heard or you might have seen on WhatsApp and Facebook that there was high inflation rates in few African countries like Zimbabwe, Zambia, all these countries. $1 was equivalent to some 4 lakh, 5 lakhs, Zimbabwean dollar. Same thing happened with Venezuela also. Venezuela is a South American country. They have also got crude deposit like Saudi Arabia, but owing to high levels of corruption, non-payment of tax and other things, Venezuela was in a very, very bad shape, and such countries would be helped by IMF. Now, we need not go that far. In the year 1989, 1990, India was also at the verge of bankruptcy. It's very hard to believe because after 20, 30 years, we are telling that we are the fifth or the sixth largest economy in the world and our GDP value is $3 trillion, but we were not the same 30 years back. So, who came to our advice, suggestion, and help is definitely IMF and WTO. You can debate on both sides whether globalization is good or bad and advantages and disadvantages, but there are certain good things, and IMF was one of the drivers of the reason behind India going for LPG, that is liquidation, liberalization, globalization, and privatization. Now, these are some of the fast facts related to IMF. Now, member nations in IMF are 189. The headquarters is in Washington, D.C., USA. And there are 24 directors. This might be a question. Please remember this number. There are 24 directors representing a single country or a group of countries. We would be discussing what would be or what is a group of countries in the slides to come in other topics. The largest borrowers are Argentina, Ukraine, Greece, Egypt, and the largest precautionary loans have been given to Mexico, Colombia, Morocco. Okay. Primary aim. So, what does IMF aim for? More or less, it was covered in the first slide itself. Anyway, we'll quickly see this. They promote international monetary cooperation, facilitates expansion and balanced growth of international trade, promote exchange stability. For example, rupee versus the dollar sort of a thing, easy to remember for us. Assist in establishment of multilateral system of payments, make resources available with adequate safeguards to member experiencing balance of payments and difficulties. So what do we understand from the primary aim is we need not mug up any of these things. Please understand, this is not a descriptive examination. Like we have been telling from the beginning, it is all about understanding the concepts well. So IMF basically focuses on facilitation of international trade by making sure that there is economic stability in all the countries and the value of their money is intact. So this is what IMF aims at. So this is the concept behind all the activities they do. So points to remember: how many member countries are there? 189. Where is the headquarters? Washington, D.C. How many directors are there? 24. So these are some facts which we have to remember, which helps in the examination. So this was about IMF. There is a very interesting fact which I wanted to share with you all. I'm sharing this with a lot of pride. IMF's chief economist's name is Miss Geeta Gopinathan. See, I take pride in sharing this for three reasons. Reason number one, she is an Indian. All of us are Indians, and it's a very proud moment for all of us to have somebody from India who is the chief economist of IMF. This can be a question also. First thing. Second thing is she comes from the same city from which Alok sir and I come from, Mysore city. And I personally take pride for the third reason is I studied in the same school where Geeta Gopinath also studied. She is much senior to me, but we come from the same school. We are alumni of the same school. Anyway, what is to be remembered here is IMF's chief economist is Geeta Gopinath. So this is something which we have to remember. Right. So I'll stop sharing and we shall go back to Alok sir.
So I think all of you understood about IMF. Some of you already knew. So the people who knew, it is like revision. For the people who did not know, I think you got a brief idea. So now that we know what is IMF and we know that Geeta Gopinath is chief economist of IMF, Next, we can go to ASEAN. So what is this ASEAN? This is the next international body, and who forms part of ASEAN, and why do we have it? I think Ramcharan sir will explain right now. So please do let us know in the comments whether you understood IMF. We are now going to ASEAN.
Right. So I shall share the screen with you all. And let's go to the next international body. Okay. So we have this. So the expansion of this acronym is Association of Southeast Asian Nations. Now, like I told you, current affairs need not be tough all the time. Expansion can itself be a question. Association of Southeast Asian Nations. Now, these countries are very important for India as well. Now, let me just tell you something about these countries and the policy that India is following. Uh, if you take India as a reference point, to the west we have the European countries and USA, and to the right, that is, if you face India instead, and to the right we have countries like, it starts with Bangladesh, then we have Bhutan, then we have Burma, then we also have a lot of countries which are very small islands, and all these countries have come together to form this regional bloc, which is the Association of Southeast Asian Nations. To our right, we also have Japan. So we will see something about Association of Southeast Asian Nations. These become important because India, for the last 10-15 years, has a policy called Look East. Please remember this, important. Look East. All the developed nations fall to the western side of India, like I told you, the European countries and the United States and Canada and others. But East also can offer a lot of opportunities to us. So that is what we would be discussing here, why Association of Southeast Asian Nations become very important for us is discussed in this slide. Association of Southeast Nations or ASEAN was established on 8th August 1967 in Bangkok, Thailand. Please remember this. This can be a question. So, when was this association created? Way back in 1967, almost 53 years ago, this has come into existence. Right. With the signing of ASEAN Declaration by founding countries, namely Indonesia, Malaysia, Philippines, Singapore, and Thailand. So all these are mostly the island countries. They are not as large or as big as India, but they have something to offer to the entire world. Now, if you look at the member nations, very important, which we have to remember. So the first country here is Brunei, second is Cambodia, then we have Indonesia, then we have Laos. This is also called Laos, then Malaysia, then Myanmar, then we have Philippines, Singapore, Thailand, and Vietnam. Very important. You have to remember the names of these countries: one, two, three, four, five, six, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So there are 10 countries which we have to remember. If you remember, I think it was 2005 or 6, 2014 or 15 or 16, we had invited the heads of all these states to our Republic Day. So all these countries, presidents and prime ministers were in India, and they saw the Republic Day march, which happens in the Rajpath, Delhi. So we have had, or we have a good relationship with all these countries. Right. What are the aims of ASEAN is economic growth, social progress, and cultural development. That is why they've all come together. One is economic growth. So they want to have trade, they want to earn money. Social progress. So they want their societies to do well. And of course, cultural development. They have a very different culture when compared to a lot of us. Of course, you find a lot of similarity between the Indian culture and the Asian countries' culture. I have visited two places here. One is Indonesia and Singapore. And when you go there, you find a lot of things which are very commonly found in India as well. So it is one of the beautiful places or beautiful countries. All of them are, and they try to preserve their culture to promote regional peace. That is what every sensible country in the world would definitely strive for. They would like to have peace in their country, to establish trade and research facility. Now they want to sell whatever they produce, and they want to buy whatever is not produced in their country. And research, we all know science is the only way forward for all the countries, so they want to improve their research facilities. To focus on agriculture and industry. So agriculture is the main occupation, not just in India, but across the world and in many countries. So they would like to focus on agriculture. Of course, industry is required to convert all the raw materials to the output, or inputs to output. So they focus on this and help to raise the living standards of people, to maintain cooperation with other regional organizations. So like how there is Association of Southeast Asian Nations, there are other organizations around the world. So they would like to have good contacts with them. So this is the aim of ASEAN countries. I was reading something few days back. One of the objectives of this association is really wonderful. I was very happy after reading that. They have signed an agreement telling that all the member nations of ASEAN will not have nuclear weapon for whatever reason it is. This is one of the nice things that they have set for themselves. Now there is this problem with India and China. Now China is provoking India in the Ladakh actual line of actual control, and China provoked us in the Doklam region 2-3 years back. So why would there be so much of tension as soon as there is tension between India and China, or India or Pakistan, or in America and maybe some other country? Why will there be so much of tension? Why do leaders across the world get tense when such countries involve in some sort of a spat? Reason is very simple. They all are nuclear countries. That's the biggest worry. Japan is yet to come out, although they are one of the most progressive economies in the world. But there are scars of the atomic bomb attack which happened in the year 1945. It's been almost 75, 76 years, but still we can find the scars of the attack which happened on Japan. In the whole world, at least in the modern history that we see, the atomic bomb attack has happened only once, but we are not able to digest it and come out of it. So no country in the world would like to possess nuclear weapons, and these countries have made a pledge not to have nuclear weapons. So our full appreciation and marks for these countries for signing this kind of a pact. Right, I shall go back to Alok sir. Yes sir.
Yeah, so now I hope all of you got an idea. Next, we have an association where there are 5 countries, which is called as BRICS. So BRICS is not your construction bricks which you use. Here it is an abbreviation for the countries which are part of this international body. So India is also part of BRICS. So what is this BRICS? Why did BRICS come into picture? And what are the geographical advantages of BRICS? Why these 5 countries came together? These points now Ramcharan sir will tell. And BRICS is very important for you because it's relatively recent, and obviously questions can be asked from this. So over to Ramcharan sir.
Right, I shall share the screen again with you all. And okay. Now, bricks, like Sir told, bricks is not the brick that we use for construction. When Sir was talking about bricks and construction, I was reminded of a very senior professor who was giving a lecture to me when I was a student in my PG program. He came to the class and asked us, "Do you all know what is a brick?" I'll tell you. Why did he tell brick and not bricks? So he asked us, "Do you all know what is brick?" So we were all, we thought, what happened to such a senior professor? He's talking about brick in a management class. And we told, yes, sir, the same thing that is used for construction. It comes in the it comes in red color, or it can be cement brick and all those things. We all started telling. Then he gave a earful to all of us. And he told that, brick is not that brick that he's talking about. He's talking about BRIC, which stands for Brazil, Russia, India, and China. When this association was created, that is South Africa, was not a part of it. Later, South Africa joined. But what and what made these countries come together is very important for us. BRICS is an informal group of states comprising of Federative Republic of Brazil, Russia Federation, Republic of India, People's Republic of China, and Republic of South Africa. So these are the countries. It is very simple to remember. The first letter of all these countries creates this acronym, which is BRICS. Now, year 2016, India became the head. That's what we know. But the formal proposal happened sometime around 2005, 2006, and it was basically made by Vladimir Putin, who is the president of Russia. Now, if you see here, Brazil comes from South America, Russia comes from, of course, Europe, then India and China are representing Asia, and South Africa is a part of Africa. So they come from different continents. They are not, they don't share borders except for India and China. No other country here shares borders, but they all have come together. What is the reason behind this? Reason behind this is these five economies are the fastest growing economies in the world. We all know China is the second largest economy today with a value of around $12 trillion, and India is the fifth largest economy with a value of $3 trillion. And Russia, after the disintegration of USSR sometime in the mid 1980s, has bounced back. And Russia is a very vast country like China. They have a large land resource and they have a lot of natural resources at their disposal, and they are one of the leaders when it comes to manufacturing defense equipments especially. So, and Brazil is also one of the leading economies which comes from South America, and South Africa has also shown a strong intent to be one of the leading economies in the world. So that is the reason why all these countries have come together. So every year or once in 2 years, these countries will meet. It's called the BRICS Summit, and the last summit happened in India, and that was in 2016. And BRICS was headed by India then, and it happened in Goa. So Goa, all of us know, the summit happened there. The current president of BRICS is China. So from India, the leadership has, or the presidentship has moved to China. BRICS also proposes to have its own bank, which is very important. Like we have the World Bank, like we have the Asian Development Bank. The BRICS is thinking of creating its own bank where all the member nations will contribute money, and that money will be given to the member nations for developmental activities in their countries. So they are planning to come out with a bank. Let us see whenever it happens. If it happens, it will definitely be a question in the CSEET exam. Anyway, so this is about BRICS for us. So there are certain other things that are told in the syllabus for us. It talks about the 11th summit and the highlights of the summit that happened in India. So what is very important here is economic growth for innovative future was the theme of the 11th BRIC summit. Please see this. The economic growth for innovative future was the theme of 11th BRICS summit. And highlights of Indian summit is given here. Intra BRICS trade accounts to 15% of the world trade. Important for us to remember. So the trade that is happening between all these countries is equal to 15% of the world trade that happens. This is very important. And India called the world leaders to invest in India, particularly in the infrastructure development. Right. So India proposed BRICS waters ministers meeting in the summit. Now, if you see, when we come to the political affairs chapter, we will be discussing various ministries, and India has created something called the Jal Shakti Mantralay, if I remember it correctly. So there is a cabinet level ministry created in India purely to look into water resource. We all know water is the most important resource. Without water, without air, it becomes next to impossible to live. So that's why water ministers, there was a proposal that all the water ministers should meet together. Right. India highlighted the menace of terrorism. There are certain countries in the world which pay a very huge price because of terrorism. India is one of them. Israel is another example. No country is, left when it comes to the negative impacts of terrorism. So India, according to India's estimate, around $1 trillion of world economy is lost because of terrorist activities. Such a simple example. I'll give a simple example. Say there is a place, city X city, and it's one of the most beautiful cities in the world, and people would like to go there, and tourism can improve. But people also will come to know that there is huge terrorist activities that happens there. So who would like to go to such a place? So that place will completely lose its significance in the world, and people living there will lose their jobs and livelihood. So that's the reason why every country or all the countries across the world should come together and fight terrorism. And India has been talking about this right from mid 1990s. And now slowly countries are opening up and they're coming together to counter terrorism. And one of the highlights of the 11th BRICS summit was the same. Right. So there are certain other points which I'll quickly take you through. BRICS is an acronym which we have already discussed. BRICS Forum is an independent international organization encouraging commercial, political, cultural cooperation between the BRIC nations. So it was formally formed in the year 2011, although the proposal came in the year 2006 by Vladimir Putin. Right. Brazil hosted the most recent, that is 11th, on 13th and 14th November 2019. Okay, India's was 2016, and the latest one was in Brazil in the year 2019. The five BRIC countries represent this what uh, is making Brazil a very, very formidable group in the world. Look at the number of people who live in all these countries put together, 3.1 billion. Of course, close to 3 billion people live in India and China itself. So all others put together another zero point 0.1 billion. So that's a huge population. That is huge number of people who live in these five countries, and this is what is making this group a very strong group in the world, because these five countries can not only generate a lot of goods and services, but they can provide markets to a lot of other companies across the world. So today, market is everything. And that's the reason why this group is considered to be very, very strong and crucial, or about 41% of the world's population. So for every 100 people that you find in the world, 41 people will live in one of these five countries, and mostly they'll be living in India and China. Right. 4 out of 5 members, that is excluding South Africa, were in the top 10 of the world by population. So it's a known fact. China heads the list, and it is followed by India. And it is expected in the next 15, 20 years, India will be the country with the highest population. Right. As of 2018, these five nations had a combined GDP of 18.6 trillion. China alone has around $12 trillion, and India has another $3 trillion. So other countries put together have another $5 trillion worth of economy, which is really good. It is almost equivalent to the US economy. About 23.2 of the gross world product, a combined GDP, PPP stands for purchasing power parity, of around 40.55 trillion. These numbers are difficult to remember. You need not remember. I have put these numbers just to make you understand that these are the numbers which are making this group a very strong group in the world. Right. I shall go back to Alok, sir. Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir. I think now you can tell us about Sark and then BIM Stick.
Okay, I shall take up both at one go in that case. This is again very important. These are called the regional blocks. Now, what are these regional blocks? SARC stands for South Asian Association for Regional Cooperation. I'm sorry, there is a spelling mistake here. This A should come here and L should go there. Anyway, so SARC stands for South Asian Association for Regional Cooperation. This was the brainchild of India in 1980s, mid 1980s, 84, 85. That was the time where this association was created. Idea is very simple. The South Asian countries should come together, form an organization which will have good cooperation amongst them. That was the idea behind this, established in the year 1985. Important, please remember the year. Year can be a question. When was SARC formed? It was formed in the year 1985. It is India's initiative. Like I told you, it was India's initiative to bring all these countries together. First meeting was held in Dhaka, Bangladesh. Dhaka is the capital of Bangladesh. We all know that if you have to know more about Bangladesh, Bangladesh was a part of our own Bengal, and the British divided the Bengal into East Bengal and West Bengal. Then after partition, East Bengal was with Pakistan, And in the year 1971, Bangladesh got liberated from Pakistan and Bangladesh became an independent country. So Bangladesh is the country with which India shares the longest border. Please remember this. This can be a question. It is not China, it is not Pakistan with whom we share the longest border. The longest border by India is shared with Bangladesh. So Bangladesh was created in the year 1971 and Dhaka is the capital of Bangladesh. So the first meeting was held there. Secretariat is at Kathmandu, Nepal. Kathmandu is another city, just like our Bangalore or Mumbai, highly populated, a lot of people, a lot of traffic, and a lot of economic and business activities happening. And you find a few big offices and all that in Kathmandu. Kathmandu is the capital of Nepal also. And one of the beautiful cities that you find in country Nepal. And there we have the secretariat for Sark. Right. So the member nations, again, we need to remember this. Of course, I've taken this from the textbook itself. First country is Afghanistan, second is Bangladesh, third is Bhutan, fourth is India, then fifth is Maldives, sixth is Nepal, seventh is Pakistan, and eighth is Sri Lanka. So I can see this. You can understand this. This was an effort to keep China away. It's as simple as that. And all other countries wanted to come together. Now, what is the state of Sark is very important for us. Sark is not a very active regional body today. If you go to Google and make some reading, you will understand that there are a lot of people who tell that Sark is at the verge of extinction. It means that Sark may not exist in the days to come. The days of Sark is over. Because most of these countries do not share the same philosophy, especially India and Pakistan and Afghanistan. So now, if you see, China is influencing Sri Lanka, China is influencing Nepal. All these news is what we are seeing on a daily basis. So, do these countries still share the same philosophy? Maybe not. That's the reason why we are finding so many updates about Sark, and there are people who very strongly opine that the days of Sark is over. So, what is India planning? What is India doing? India has been active in an other regional bloc, and the name of that regional bloc is BIM Stick. Please remember, important BIM Stick. Now, what is the expansion of BIM Stick? The Bay of Bengal Initiative for Multi-Sectorial Technical and Economic Cooperation. Very long, really long expansion, but we need to remember this. So I'll repeat this: Bay of Bengal Initiative for Multi-Sectorial Technical and Economic Cooperation. So the idea is very simple. All the countries which share Bay of Bengal are a part of this group. So member states, adjacent area of Bay of Bengal constituting contiguous regional unity. Anyway, this was founded way back in 1997. This is not a new thing, but it was not very prominent. It was not very active. But over the years, we are seeing that this group has become very active, and India is leading this group in many ways. There is a proposal, and the work is on, where India is constructing road which connects India to Thailand. So there'll be roadways between India and Thailand. We need not go by flight to Thailand anymore. We can go by road itself. So such cooperative actions are being taken. Member nations are Bangladesh, India, Sri Lanka, Thailand, Myanmar, Nepal, and Bhutan. Please remember this. This is very, very important. The member countries of BIMSTEC. 14 areas of cooperation. There are 14 areas which all these countries have agreed upon to cooperate with. And what they have done is, whichever country is good in a particular sector, that is given to that country and they head it. For example, India heads the technology sector. India heads the agriculture sector. Maybe Thailand heads the tourism sector. So that's how it works. Whichever country is good at whichever sector, that country will head that sector in the group. That's the understanding that we find in BIMSTEC. The BIMSTEC permanent secretariat is at Dhaka. Important. See, Dhaka is very, very important. The first meeting of Sark happened in Dhaka, and the secretariat of BIMSTEC is at Dhaka. It was opened in the year 2014, and India contributes 33% of its expenditure. That's what I told you. Sark is not active. Sark is not contributing. So India is looking at another regional bloc, and that is BIMSTEC, and India is providing a lot of funds to make sure that it holds that leading position in BIMSTEC. So this was about BIMSTEC to us. Anyway, we shall go back to Alok sir. and then see what we can do next.
Yeah. So I think all of you have got an idea, right from IMF, then we went to Sark, then even BIM Stick. So there are different regional blocks. Of course, it is not there for exam, but slowly you'll understand that there is a lot of things related to geopolitics. That is, depending on which region you are, you should be very strong over there. So you will try to become friends with your neighbors in that particular region. For instance, India is trying very hard to become good friends with Afghanistan, and it is. In fact, if you ask anybody from Afghanistan, they trust India more than America or Pakistan or China for that matter. Why is that? Because of the historical connections between Afghanistan and India. So then India helped Afghanistan to build one port, correct? So like this, lot of regional politics will be involved. That is not for exam, but if you know that information, you'll know why they are trying to form this kind of international bodies. Okay, that's one small information. Now that we have done with that, I think you might have heard about all this G20 and all that. So I would request Ramcharan sir to tell a little bit about what is this G20, then also RCEP, these kind of concepts sir can tell, and what is this G5 and G7, and what is this the significance of the number. So I over to Ramcharan sir.
Right. So we shall go back to the PPT. Let's try to understand G20. Right. Uh, that photograph looks great, isn't it? These are the member countries representatives. You can also see our Prime Minister, Mr. Narendra Modi. He is standing right behind the Sheikh. Maybe he is from UAE or Saudi Arabia. You can see our Prime Minister here. Here we find our Prime Minister, Mr. Narendra Modi. Right. So this is the group 20. G here stands for group 20. Now, what is this group? Sir told what is G5, what is G7, what is G20? G stands for group, and they are the leading economies in the world. When we say G5, they are the top 5. G20 are top 20 economies in the world. They are very, very powerful bodies. There is something called G7, and the summit is expected to happen soon. And they also invite people from outside as observers. And Trump has extended the invitation to our Prime Minister Narendra Modi to be the observer in the G7 meet. So that shows that India is one of the strongest emerging countries in the world. Our voice is heard. That's very important. So that is the biggest change that we are seeing in the last 5 6 years. India's voice is heard. India is leading other countries in many ways. The first example that we can take here is the Paris Convention, which happened on climate change and other things. Two countries which were in the forefront to lead this entire discussion was India and China. Now, after this COVID issue, the whole world is looking at India for various reasons. Reason number one, the way in which India is handling the entire COVID situation. We are a country with a population of 1.3 billion or 130 crores. So, how do we write it? 130 followed by 7 zeros. That is the population of our country. You may tell that we have these many lakh cases that are there, but still it is very, very negligible when you compare it with the population of the country. It is very sad that that many fellow Indians are infected, but the things are in place, and India is doing extremely well in making sure that India is not affected in a very bad way. And all of you would have heard about hydroxychloroquine, which is a malaria drug which is being used in the treatment of COVID 19. It is being supplied by India to more than 120, 140 countries. So we are leading in many ways. And recently there was a phone call between Narendra Modi and Donald Trump, who's the US president. And Narendra Modi, spoke to Trump about the riots that are happening because of the killing of United Nations citizen, which has led to large-scale riots in the country. Now, if a country can take stock of the situation of US, that simply shows that India has really become a strong voice in the world, right? So G20 is a group which has 20 such countries. Each one is good at something. You see Japan there, you see US there, or you see Saudi there, you see China there. So each country there is leading in one or the other way, and leaders of these countries come together. Like I told you, roughly we can tell that there are around 200 countries in the world, and 20 countries group, that is 10% of the countries of the entire world, come together and they discuss various things, and 20 countries are there. G20 members account for the second paragraph. If you see here, 85% of world economy and 75% of global trade. So it means that, like I told you, 80% of the world's wealth is with 20% of the population. When I tell that, it is quantified here. So 75 to 80% of the world's wealth is held by these countries. That's why they are very important. So their leaders coming together, meeting and signing a lot of contracts is very, very important. So this is G20 for us. The next regional block is RCEP. RCEP stands for Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership. This is not a part of your syllabus. This is included just to make you understand the things that are changing in the world. Now, this is a body which has China, Japan, New Zealand, South Korea, and Australia. Here at the bottom, I have written, plus the Asian countries. So this is the group. And India is being invited by this group. And China heads this group. And China is requesting India to be a part of this. So that's what is happening. But India has decided not to go with this group for the simple reason, if we go with this group, all these countries can dump their produce in India. And that is not a good sign for the producers in India. We covered in our daily update telling that China has come with a new proposal. See, that is the beauty of international relationship. Generally, it is referred as a very, very slippery ground, the international affairs and international relationship. See the fun. On one side, China blocks us from getting the permanent membership in UN. China blocks us from getting the membership in nuclear suppliers group. China also creates problems in the borders, but China relaxes the rules of RCEP to have India as a member country. So this is how the international politics is. You never know in which direction the cannon will turn and start, firing. That's how the entire system works. But we cannot do anything. Anyway, China is leading this group, and India has decided to stay away from it. China has offered some relaxation. RCEP potentially includes more than 3 billion people, 45% of the world's population, combined GDP of around $21 trillion. This is huge because we have New Zealand, we have Australia, we have Japan, India. Of course, India is yet to be a part of it, but China is already there. So that makes this group very, very rich, $21 trillion, accounting to around 40% of world trade. India has decided to stay out of RCEP. There was this meeting which happened in the month of November in 2019. Narendra Modi told that his inner voice is not allowing him to be a part of RCEP because of the dumping clause that is there in the RCEP group. And we decided to remain out of RCEP. But we have to follow the news which is related to RCEP. Right. So this is RCEP for us. Let's go back to Alok sir.
Yeah, I think we have covered most. In the end, we can just cover like some of the important international organization, and then we can wrap up.
Right, sir. We shall do that. See, like we have been telling from the beginning, the syllabus that we have in the textbook is just the indicative of what are the things that you should follow, read, and understand, but it is not everything. Like sir told in the beginning, reading newspaper is the only thing that can help you to do extremely well in current affairs. Of course, we are supplementing you with our daily updates, but it is not enough. You have to read, understand. So the international organizations that we discussed are very few, but there are a lot of other international organizations. Let us quickly run through the names. That's all. We'll not take up a detailed discussion. First is World Bank. World Bank is also called International Bank for Reconstruction and Development. countries which are affected by extreme poverty, countries which are torn by wars, countries which are affected by terrorism, countries which are affected by poverty. Such countries are helped by World Bank. There was a news I think we covered in the video update also. World Bank has sanctioned a loan of $1 billion to India to fight COVID-19. So this is how World Bank helps countries across the world. Second is World Trade Organization. Earlier it was called GATT. It was formed sometime during 1948, and in the year 1995, World Trade Organization was created, and the sole purpose of WTO is to open the economies across the world and facilitate globalization. India is one of the founding members of World Trade Organization. Then we have the World Health Organization. World Health Organization is in news for the last 3-4 months on a daily basis, because they are the ones who are coming out with guidelines and suggestions and advices to the country to deal with COVID-19. And there was a recent news related to World Health Organization telling that Ebola has again resurfaced in Africa, and that can be a problem. So they go, they fight, they understand, they do a lot of research. So that is the work of World Health Organization. International Labour Organization, they try to make sure that the labor force across the world is treated very well. That's the whole idea behind International Labour Organization. They try to protect the interest of the laborers across the world. There was a proposal from the Niti Aayog. We'll be discussing Niti Aayog later on. There was a proposal from Niti Aayog which told that there'll be some relaxation in the labor laws in the country. And soon after this thing, the International Labour Organization came out with advisory to India, asking all these things, and a few associations in the country told that they would approach International Labour Organization if the labor laws are relaxed and all that. Immediately Niti Aayog came with a statement telling that they are talking only about a revision and not about abolishing the labor law. So things settled after that. So that is how the International Labour Organization works. Then we have European Central Bank. See, European Central Bank, we have something called the Eurozone. So Eurozone has around 28 countries, and they have their own currency called Euro, and they have a central bank, like how India has RBI. So the European countries have a bank, and that's called the European Central Bank, very, very strong. The previous IMF chairman is the president of European Central Bank, and we have covered it in one of our videos. Christina Lagarde is her name, if I'm pronouncing it correctly. So she heads this bank, and she is basically a French lady, if I remember correctly. So this is another very strong international organization that we have. Bank of International Settlements, they basically focus on the international trade. Then we have the Asian Development Bank. This is what I told when I told that BRICS is proposing to come out with its own bank. So Asian Development Bank is another organization which funds the developmental activities in Asian continent. Few important regional blocks, like how we have Sark, and like how we have ASEAN and BIM Stick and all that. There are few other regional blocks. So they are European Union. The entire European continent, except for few countries, are a part of European Union. There is a whole lot of politics that is involved in this in the form of Brexit and all that. It is very important for you to know. You must read about the European Union and Brexit. Then you have the African Union. In the African continent, you have the African Union, like how the European Union is there. Then you have the Union of South American Nations, USAN. Then we also have Caribbean Community. Caribbean Community is it's very popularly called West Indies. Those of you who follow cricket very closely would be knowing there are different islands in this region, like Barbados, Jamaica, all these places. They're collectively called Caribbean countries, and they have their own union. Then you have Central American Integration System. Then you also have the Arab League. Then we have European Free Trade Association. You have the Eurasian Economic Community. Europe and Asia, the countries which fall in the borders of Asia and European continent, they have a community called the Eurasian Economic Community. So these are some of the regional blocks whose news, if we can read, understand, remember, would help us to gain a lot of knowledge. Anyway, we shall conclude the session with this. I shall go back to Alok sir. We shall take his inputs and maybe wrap up the session.
Okay, so thanks a lot, sir. I know some of you may be thinking there are so many bodies, should we know everything? See, sir has told some extra things which is not in syllabus, just for your general knowledge for current affairs. That is the whole point of this particular subject. So even if you see ICSI, they told this is a reference material. Most of it will be here. And this is for 20 marks. So along with the material, 7 p.m. every day we do the videos, it will help you. So please understand one thing. Now, any questions you have, you can type in the comments. In the meantime, I'm going to send you the link of the course. So some questions are there, but there is Lekha Nayak. She's asking some questions, and some more people. Shakiba Fatima. Tomorrow, 5 p.m. is Logical Reasoning by Vishwas sir. Vishwas sir also made a short 3 minutes video today about the overview of logical reasoning. It's a very good video. Please watch it. He's prepared very well for the classes which we are coming up. So please ensure you join the live classes every day from June 9th onwards. We will be June 8th onwards. We'll be having this live classes in the evening, most probably between 5 to 8 is the range. Then recorded classes will be in Ekcel Academy app and Ekcel Academy website. And we'll also be giving you quiz, MCQ, complete support till the day of the exam. So ensure that you get live and recorded and quiz and MCQ and general motivation, because that is most important. We'll keep pushing you. We'll make sure that you study well. Already many of you who are there in the comments, which I can see, have purchased the classes, and I'm sure you'll enjoy. I request whoever is still not purchased, because the promo code offer is only till Sunday. So you get it for just 4,000 rupees, around 500 rupees per subject. 7 subjects are there, 4 papers are there. That is English. Then we have legal aptitude, logical reasoning, business economics, business environment, current affairs, and Viva Voce. So 7 different subjects you're getting for around 500 rupees per subject. That's all, which is as good as free. We have a lot of time and effort which we are giving. We understand the situation which is there outside in the world right now. That is why we are giving it for almost free. Ensure that you register. Ensure that you register. I'm sharing the link again over here, because after Sunday, this course will be 16,000 rupees. But if you purchase before Sunday, it is just 4,000. You're getting live classes, recorded classes, you're getting our app, you're getting MCQ, you're getting quizzes. You're going to have a group where teacher will be solving your questions. Like we're going to have a Telegram group, WhatsApp group, this kind of group will be there. So you are entering a community. You're not just buying a class. You enter our Ekcel Academy community. You will have constant support, not only till the day of the exam, till the day you become a company secretary. So I want you to become part of this community, become part of this wonderful group which we have, and we'll ensure you do really well. Don't miss this opportunity. So any questions you have about today's class, you can tell. Just a small reminder, tomorrow 5 p.m. is Vishwas sir, logical reasoning. It's going to be a very, very interesting class. Then we have 6 p.m. on Saturday, which is Madhuri ma'am with English. Then Sunday again, I'm coming at 5 p.m. for our legal aptitude. And Sunday is the last day of this sale, the last day where you'll get for 4,000. So ensure you buy today. Don't miss this. So Ponnamma ma'am and Ramcharan sir, I love them. Kudos. Thank you. Thanks for your kind words. What are the chapter you cover in law? So
Hello.
Kavya, we are doing company law. We already finished on Monday. We finished basics of the characteristics of company. What is the meaning of company? We also had a quiz. Many people got 9 out of 10 on the quiz. Actually, it is 10 out of 10 because the last was a sentence. So exact sentence you didn't write. So that Google form showed you wrong answer. But I'm happy many people got 10 out of 10. That means you attended the class really well and you are very attentive. We are very happy that you are very attentive. Then any other questions, sir? What is the policy name for ASEAN? Then
Sir, I'll take that question. There are two things. So there are two questions. Yeah, the first question here is somebody is asking, would you be covering political news also apart from business? Yes, it would be covered. Now, if you look at what we are doing in the daily updates, there are not many political activities that are happening across the world. Every political leader, every political party, every government is focusing either to fight COVID or to make sure that their economy is on track. As and when there is an update, we will definitely be sharing it. And when we take up the chapter on political affairs, a lot of inputs will be given related to politics. So you can be rest assured that it will be covered. There was another question which told what is the policy. See, there are two things that I told. One is India's policy, that is look east. So India is following a policy called look east, where we are trying to establish strong relationship with the countries falling to our eastern side. That's one policy. Second policy which the Asian countries have is not to have nuclear power, not to have atomic bombs. That's the policy they follow. So these are the two things that was told during the class. I hope I've answered your question.
So we are getting a lot of appreciation for our teachers. Shreya is telling about Ramcharan sir. Some more are telling about Pannamma ma'am and Ramcharan sir. So both, if for your information, Ramcharan sir and Pannamma ma'am are principals in the respective college that is in Mysore. So despite that busy schedule, they're coming. They love to teach, and that is why they're doing. So you will get the best. Not only that, you'll also be getting a lot of support from us. So ensure that you buy the course now. I don't want you to miss the opportunity. Sunday is the last day. Use the promo code now 2000. The promo code is now 2000, NOW 2000. You'll get what is 6000, you'll get just for 4000. So please don't miss this opportunity. So any more questions you guys have? Any more questions? Sir, all your academic faculties are awesome. Preeti, thank you very much. We'll continue to strive hard. And some students were telling, if I told, sir, why no Hindi and all of that. So first thing I want to tell you is, see, corporate world happens only in English. So when we are learning, let us learn in English. That is first reason. Second thing, you like it or not, the language which is used during writing and drafting different agreements in your job of a CS, everything is English. At home, please speak in your mother tongue, whether it is Hindi, Tamil, Telugu, Kannada, Malayalam, Oriya, Bengali, Gujarati, anything. Please speak with your friends, your relatives, everybody in your mother tongue. We have to understand that our mother tongue is first. But the language of the business is English. You like it or not, it's English. And we have to adopt. That is why all our classes are in English. That's all. Okay. I hope I made my point very simple and clear. And we have any more questions? Shreya Verma, हिंदी लेक्चर्स आपको चाहिए या नहीं चाहिए, आपको बोलना है. Shreya, what are the chapter you'll cover upcoming classes in law? Kaviya will be covering everything, but on the Sunday class, which is free on YouTube, only till Sunday it is free on YouTube. From Monday to Sunday, we started on Monday, all the way till Sunday, it is free on YouTube. We want you to get a feel of the teachers and understand our teaching style, because we don't want to simply take your money and then you are disappointed. All that we don't like. So that is why one full week we have given free. Then from Monday, it will be privately, where it is not on YouTube. You'll be having a private platform where we'll be sharing all the details with you. And there you will be getting the classes. So that is why the class will be all the way till exam. 100% syllabus will be covered along with MCQs, study tips, how you should write MCQs, all of that. And please do follow us on Instagram. I'm giving you daily MCQ tips on Instagram. There are totally 25 tips. We have done with, I think, 10 tips as of today. So follow us on Instagram. We have a Telegram channel. All the links are in the description. All our links are in description. Just go there, become part of our community. Just join this Telegram, join this Instagram. Of course, you are subscribed on YouTube. If not yet subscribed, please do subscribe and join the paid classes, which is almost free. Join the paid classes, which is almost free, and ensure you do well. Some people are thinking we'll do self-study. You can, but if you want to make your life easy, if you want to make your life very smooth, please take help of teachers, which is less than 80%. That is 80% discount you are getting if you buy before Sunday. Please don't miss this opportunity. श्रेया वर्मा, नहीं, हाँ, हिंदी में क्लासेस हो सकता है, पर इंग्लिश में बेहतर है, क्योंकि इंग्लिश में ही एग्जाम्स है. एग्जाम्स तो इंग्लिश में है, तो पढ़ने के समय भी हमें इंग्लिश में पढ़ना है. ओके. So Lakshmi, okay, great. You're following on Instagram. I request others also to follow us on Instagram. All those things are free. YouTube is free, Instagram is free, Telegram is free. We are giving lot of things. Even every day 7 p.m. CSEET current affairs, nobody is doing. We are giving it for free. But to know the exact way to pass your exam, to go in depth, to make sure that you can even get a rank, you need to join the paid live classes, which is almost free, which I'm telling you. So ensure that you join. So I'm again giving you the link in the description. Please do join. So any doubts are there? Please know Hindi. Okay. Sir, correct, sir. Okay. So time of current affairs 7 p.m. today. Yeah. Instagram ID is again Ekcel Academy. That's it. Ekcel Academy. If you search, you will get it. Instagram EKCEL Academy. Our spelling is EKCEL, not EXCEL. Okay. Sir, what's that's what I'm saying. Shreya, take it, Shreya. Very good. All social media, Vishnu Priya Jawahar is following us. Very good. And she has also joined the paid classes. Great. So your tips are very useful. Thank you, sir. Shanta Raghu. Yes, Shanta has also joined our classes. So that's nice to know. So I think if you don't have any more questions, it's time we can close this session. So can we close the session? Guys, please let us know. Once again, I'm giving you the reminder, don't miss the opportunity. Please buy the classes before Sunday. And this extra 2000 discount is only for 20 people who are going to register every single day. So don't miss the opportunity and buy the classes. If you still haven't bought it, please do buy the classes right now. So with that, we are going to end the session. Thanks a lot for joining. Tomorrow, again, please join at 5 p.m. We have logical reasoning by Vishwas sir. Also watch his video, which we has done today. See you tomorrow for logical reasoning. Thank you, Ramcharan sir, for joining us. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Alok sir. Right. Thanks then. Bye. Bye, all of you.
Bye, everybody.